Okay, well, welcome back. This is the Maturity Project. I'm your host, Chad. Today, I just wanted to make a quick video about really it's changing things. When you want to change anything, start with your thoughts. There's a process to it, right? You have an idea that just kind of blows through. It gives the opportunity for a seed to create a thought that can associate with something more tangible. The more tangible you make things, it requires structure. It requires consistency of thinking. There's a strategy that if you've already done something similar to this prior, whatever the thing is, you can graft that strategy into whatever the change is, whatever you're up to. So you have an idea, it goes into the fertile soil of your mind, right? And if that idea is about changing your life in some way, well, you're going to want to structure around it. You do have to have things that'll be supportive of it. And things that can be supportive of your change, whatever you're doing to change. There's going to be a foundation. A lot of this is you get an idea, it's good enough for you to really entertain to some degree, and then you put some effort into it and hope that it works. And most people seem to get so attached to that thing working and working right away that they get emotionally overwhelmed or emotionally taken away from it when it doesn't seem to bear the fruit that they believed it should have quickly. So, this is a good idea, but it just isn't going to work for me. Anything can work for you. It's a matter of who do you know, what has your experience been, what's your fortitude and your constitution towards accomplishing that thing. It's constitution within self. It's like, what do you stand for? What's your ethics, your work ethics, your ability to grind, your tolerance for, risk threshold tolerance. Things like that come into play. It's why some people are more successful than others. Others also, the people that are more successful typically don't get distracted as often either. Now, one of my skill sets that I've been acknowledged for, especially within my family, is the ability to renew or reinvigorate or to create, to renew my life, to be able to create something else, to adapt and overcome challenges. So my secret to that is holding in the bullseye what it is that I want to accomplish, know what I already know about that thing and whatever's similar to it, and how can I utilize the pattern that I've been familiar with from being successful with something else on that. If it's a continuation of the same thing but advancing it, then that's another thing too in itself. But it's strategize and put a foundation around the thing that you want to accomplish. That's the benefit of staying mentally resilient. Though you can change it. Just keep it in focus. If you have to, give yourself visual reminders. If you build a habit around that thing, whatever it is that you want to change, you can do things like people that makes it so hard to quit smoking. One of the challenges about quitting smoking is that there's habits to support it. It's not just the chemical addictions, but the behaviors around it. When you treat yourself with it, things like that all become part of that. All become part of the habit itself. So utilize that concept. What it holds people in the smoking habit, well, turn it so that you utilize that type of methodology that hold it in place as a way of changing your life, right? So if it's you get in your car and you have something you specifically do, like for me, when I get in my car, I don't turn on music. I'll pick something specific that has to do with what I want to accomplish as far as a goal goes. So I'll pick a YouTube channel or something from Spotify or something educational that's supportive of it, and I'll listen to that. I'll watch those videos, that kind of thing. When I'm driving, I'll listen to those things. When I have my downtime at home, I'm either reading or I'm watching videos or listening to something that helps me understand my goals a little bit better, what it takes to be successful in those goals, that kind of thing. I'm working diligently on that. So anyway, short video on it, simple version. What do you want to change? And write it down on a post-it note so you don't forget it. Put that on your mirror, put it wherever, if you got your closet door, so when you open it, you get your clothes for the day or whatever. If you got the dresser with a mirror, if it's your bathroom, when you brush your teeth, coffee pot, whatever, you put that stuff out just as a reminder. It does something to you that it doesn't fall to the background of your consciousness, and it's supportive. Just make sure that you give it a second to really acknowledge it. Don't just look at it and then move on to make it a fixture in your room or a fixture in your habit. Just build it into something that really gets your attention. Doesn't have to be a long time. You can practice it on a daily basis and sit with that thought for 30 seconds. You see it, you acknowledge, go, okay, now I owe myself 30 seconds of continuous thought without interruption about that goal. And then what do you want? Like, what do you know about changing it? Or what do you know about creating that thing, whatever it is? If it's changing a habit, then what do you know about changing it? If it's creating something new you haven't done before, what do you know about creating it? That's it. Put yourself in an inquiry. 30 seconds worth of that on a daily basis can change your life. You should start seeing new things that you're not privileged to when you first start thinking about it. The longer you do this, the more open you become, the more you start recognizing that there's other ways of being successful with what you're after that's immediately available right now in front of you. You just don't have, you haven't honed the skills to see it. That's the problem. So, all right, that's it. Let's change it. Let's change our lives. You know, we grow through what we go through with this, with the Maturity Project. Share this video with the person in your life you want to make some changes with, a powerful and meaningful conversation with. So, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You guys know that stuff, right? Subscribe if you haven't. Comment in the comment section. It does help it with its, how it gets picked up in the algorithm. And, you know, this is a community thing. It's still very early on. You guys, everybody who's already a subscriber, you guys are the early starters to this. And I appreciate you for being a part of this. We can change the world. It's just we have to have that vision together. You know, because my world's already changed, and it is changing. It's the cause maker, right? Cause in the matter. Yeah. Yeah, one day I'll tell you the story about that, actually, being Dr. Cause in the matter. I'll tell it real quick, why not? Yeah, so there was a advanced training that I went through. It was a fun organization that I was training with, and it was there was at least 115 to 130 participants in this group with me, with myself, and you know, we had 4 different weekends that we had to get together over the course of 9 months, and then there was a supporting staff of about 30 people, you know, and then there was the leader of it, all of this stuff, and you know, it was a really interesting, fun weekend. But at the end of the weekend, we had all of us would get every weekend we would get a task to work on something specific that was one of the topic points that was at the education that we went over. So you had to pick one of the categories of one of the topics that we went over. And the one that we had was, we chose being cause of the matter. So we knew we were going to be causing change. We were up to something. We were a cause of the matter is what we chose. And we couldn't figure out exactly what we wanted to do, but we had to put together this skit thing or something that would be memorable for that weekend. And I'm like, you know what, let's do something that has to do with music, because I really do like singing. I enjoy doing karaoke and stuff like that. I do enjoy that stuff. And, you know, I'm like, okay, well, how about this? Let's do Dr. Cause in the Matter. Because it's like nobody could settle on singing. So we're like, okay, let's come up with something else. Let's make it kind of funny. Like, okay, well, we're going to do something funny then. So, Cause in the Matter. And I'm like, well, let's make him an Austrian doctor. So he's a psychologist. And I'm like, okay, well, if he's going to be Austrian, let's make it Arnold Schwarzenegger-like. And I had never really done an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation, or at least not much of one prior to that. And I'm like, okay, well, then that. And they're like, well, who's going to do it? And I was like, well, you know, Chad, you do it. And I'm like, you know what, screw it. I have hesitation towards it, so I'm going to do it. I'm taking this as a challenge. I'm going after it. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I did. You know, and I practiced all night listening to all kinds of videos of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then people also impersonating him that sounded like spot on. So I had a variety of different things to say and different ways of practicing this. And yeah, sure enough, in the morning, you know, we got up there. You know, we were, I don't know, second to last. No, I think we were like 4th or 5th to last out of the groups, because there's like 8 groups, I think. And so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it, man. So I get up on stage, sit down in the chair, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, you know, like, okay, well, let's do it this way. I'm like, okay. One of the guys comes up, and he's like, comes up with his complaint, and he's like, oh, I got it, you know, I don't know, and all this, and, you know, I've got all these things going on, but he didn't really get any kind of depth into it. It's immediately he came up, and I'm like, shut up, what are you doing? Shut up, get over here, grab my hand, you know, and he's like, I was like, you know, he's like, well, doctor, I don't know what to do with X, Y, and Z and whatever. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I was like, it was stupid, but it was fun, you know. And so one guy came up, and he starts doing this. He was an Indian, and he was doing this. He was going, no, no, no. And he, like, I was like, grab my hand, And he's like, get out of my hand. And he grabs it and we're shaking and I didn't let go and he didn't let go. And he's like, I was like, ah, ah, just screaming this right in the middle of this like big room full of people. And I like literally was screaming it, it's just like you hear Arnold doing the movies. And he said it, he gets louder and he's like, no, 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 no. It was so funny because he was just going off with it. And we just sat there for like, and it seemed like 30 seconds. It was a prolonged period that was past what people considered comfortable, but yet it added to, the experience of it. Right. And I'm like, just hurry, get to the chopper, go now. And I'm not doing the best Arnold right now, just simply because it's, I'm not overly trying and I don't want to do it too loud and make, kind of hurt anybody's ears listening. But yeah, it was hilarious, and I had heard it was, I want to say 7 to 10 years later, somebody that had some loose association with the education. He's like, I was talking to him and he goes, you were Dr. Claus in the Matter? You did Arnold on stage? Because I heard about that from like so many people. He's like, it sounded hilarious. It was like, that was so funny. He wasn't there. It was because it spread throughout that community that it was just something that was, fun. So I tell you that because like sit in the idea, right? Like give yourself some time to be playful with it. Try to create something, try it on and then keep trying it on. Whenever challenges come up, keep trying those challenges. We can create something great, but you got to put forth the effort. Don't let an idea go to waste, right? If it's a pretty good idea, let's add some substance to it. So that's what this channel is about. It's about 8 different areas of maturity. I want to help you access things that are going to give you the greatest life that you want, but you have to create it. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not doing it for anybody. I'm working on my life, but it is through this because I want this for humanity. 8 different areas of maturity. I don't care your political affiliation, sexuality. I don't give a damn about any characteristics like that. What I care about is that you have access to the future that you want by not harming others or taking from others without, just cause. And I'll go into that at another time. But I'm not telling you or advocating for you to go out and hurt anybody. Just grow up. Basically, is really what it is. So, all right, path to hell is paved with good intentions. We don't need to pave that way anymore. You can start laying the bricks to the golden highway to heaven, really. But let's do it together, okay? All right, so if you subscribe to this channel, that's what we're about. All right, until next time. I am your host, Chad Everett Broshears. This is Maturity Project. Let's get up to something. Let's get up to something together.